Hello, it's Kenneth Purdom with Real Estate Photographer Pro. Just wanted to get with you on drone photos and drone videos. If you're watching this, you may be interested in booking a drone project, or you've already booked a drone project, and just wanted to talk about a couple of things. When's the best time for drone? It's kind of when the sun is up. You want, like I'm talking about, middle of the day, generally speaking, is the best time of day for drone because you want to get the shadows out of the video and out of the photo. Unless you're doing something cinematic, you may want to do something early morning, late afternoon. But if you're just trying to do drone photos and you just need information, as that sun gets up in the day, is looking straight down on the trees, the more information you'll be able to pull out of those photos, generally speaking. But if you're trying to do something cinematic and dramatic, we may need an early morning video or late morning video if you're doing cinematic. You do want the weather to be a decent day. The better the weather, the better the photos, the better the video. Photos we can usually clean up, but you don't want any rain on drone projects. You don't want any fog or mist. And again, unless we're trying to do something cinematic. But if you just need a good clear day to get that information. Clouds, not too worried about clouds. We can clean up the clouds, replace the sky in the photos if we need to do that. If you need panos, we can do panoramic. We can do 360 with the drone. We can do animated videos. So if you need a marketing video with call outs where it's calling out the features of the property, we can do that for you, and we have examples of that. One thing we would like to know on a drone project, if it's not obvious, we would like for you to provide us with the property lines. Sometimes that's obvious. We did one in Summertown yesterday, and the way the owner was there, and he literally could point out, I think it was 60 acres. You could see half of the 60 acres, and the other half was just over in another pasture. So it was all fenced off. He was cutting hay on all of it, so it was very obvious. But most of the time, we're not sure. We can look it up on Google, but sometimes that's not exactly accurate because it's family owned, and the family is sectioned off, and they're selling different sections. So long story short, we would love to have the property lines that you want us to shoot so that we're not ending up with too much of the wrong information. With drone, you're always going to have other properties in the photos, but we want to get as close as we can and as accurate as we can. Once I think I've ended up shooting the wrong property because they gave us a property for reference, which we thought was the address of the property, and we shot the wrong property. They were using that property as a reference to get to another property that had no address. So you can have confusion like that. Also, we would like to know if we're going to be needing to get down on the property, walk the property, drive the property. Will somebody be taking us through the property so we can get down low and point out different features, creeks, ponds, things like that, fence lines, potential development areas. So if we need to plan for extra time because we're going to be on a four-wheeler or somebody's taking us around on a tractor, we would like to know that. But if we're simply just pulling up and shooting the property and following the property lines, that's great. But you can tell where on some properties, if it's over 50 acres, we may have to drive to different points on the property, or we may have to drive up into the property. We'd also like to know is, can you get to the property? I've been to some properties because of the car I was driving, we had to hike up into the property. So if we've got that kind of situation, we'd like to know. If we pull up in a Prius and we can't get into the property, we'd like to know we have to hike into it. Or I do have a four-wheeler. If it's needed, I can bring that. I don't have the type of vehicle I can go out on the farm with. We would need the owner or realtor to provide us with that type of vehicle. So those are just some things we would like to know. If you need pano, if you need videos, property lines, if you need a marketing style video, if you need a cinematic video. Also, video idea, if you'd like for a story to be told. We did one in Warsaw just north of Lawrenceburg, I believe it was. 600 acres, 2-mile driveway, gated property, and we had the owner, drive his four-wheeler through the gates, and the gates open up. And so if you want shots like that display, it's a horse farm, it's a cattle farm, it has a creek through it, has we did one, forget where I was, it had a canoe, it had the Elk River ran through it, and you could canoe on the back of it. We did that on the Buffalo River. So if there's a story there to be told, we may want to plan for those shots so the owner can provide, those items so we can help you tell that story. Canoeing, cattling, farming, horseback riding. We just need, it doesn't take long. It's just 2 or 3 minutes to plan that shot, and then we just need a couple of seconds of that piece of information to tell that story, and we can put that in the video for you. But we need to talk about it and plan it before the photo shoot. All right, thank you. Let us know how we can help. Kenneth Purdom, Real Estate Photographer Pro.